It was not the start Graham Potter would have wished for, drawing 1-1 in his Champions League debut against RB Salzburg. A strong start by the Blues was not enough to see the game home, but is Potter's aggressive lineup to blame for Salzburg's equaliser? Welcome back to Football Meta. If you enjoyed this content, then please leave a like and subscribe for more. Chelsea have their work cut out for them if they want to qualify for the knockout stages of the Champions League, currently sitting bottom of their group with only 1 point from their opening 2 matches. So what exactly did Potter change in his first game in charge? Well, to gain a good understanding, let's compare it to Tuchel's last game in charge of the Blues. For starters, the formation. Tuchel opted for his rather standard 3-4-3, looking to stretch the pitch as much as possible with the 2 wingbacks in James and Chilwell. Potter's first change was to switch into a 3-5-2, preferring slightly more central cover with an extra midfielder in Jorginho. The biggest surprise was arguably the use of Sterling as the left wing-back, opting for Cucurella as the left centre-back. By looking at the average positions in the 2 matches, we can instantly notice a big difference in how the players were used. While both managers looked to have Reece James be the main threat on the right flank, the left flank had some big changes, with Sterling being the focal point on the left for Potter, while it was Ben Chilwell that provided most of the width for Tuchel. This meant Potter was able to get Sterling into a more favourable 1v1 situations, where he could then cut inside and shoot, similarly to how he was able to get Chelsea's only goal of the night. However, it's when we look at both teams' heat map that we can instantly notice a big difference in what both managers were able to achieve. Firstly, Tuchel's heat map is all too representative of what Chelsea had become, a team that circulated possession on the edge of the box, but with no real attacking threat going forward. However, Potter's Chelsea tells a different story, aggressively moving down the right flank through Reece James, and delivering balls into Aubameyang and Sterling. So while the 2 lineups were relatively similar, these 2 heat maps do give us a good understanding of the direction Potter wants to take this team. And there were some interesting changes to Chelsea's structure when in possession. When building from the back, Chelsea's back 3 would start extremely wide, making it difficult for Salzburg's front 2 to press. And when moving the ball into either side, the strikers would rotate to cover, but Jorginho would often drop in between the 2 forwards to receive the ball indirectly through Kepa. This 3-1 structure during build-up is very similar to what Potter would look to do during his time at Brighton. Chelsea did get caught out early with Susic being very quick to close down Jorginho, but if Salzburg got too aggressive, Chelsea had the option of moving it into Kovacic or Mount. This square shape from Kepa, Jorginho, Cucurella and Kovacic meant they could quickly beat Salzburg's 3-man press and rotate to the other flank, where Azpilicueta would push up, with support from Mount and Reece James further up the pitch. Which is exactly where Chelsea's goal comes from, winning the ball from a Salzburg goal kick and rotating to the right flank, where James and Mount have more space to push up, finding Sterling on the back post in acres of space to take the shot. These 4-man squares could be seen all over the pitch, and are one of the main reasons as to why Chelsea had so much dominance on the right flank. With Chelsea consistently beating Salzburg's press, it meant the Austrian champions would quickly fold into a low defensive block, meaning Chelsea were able to maintain possession in these areas of the pitch, which is where we could see another example of these 4-man squares to rotate the ball. On the right, Chelsea would usually end up with Reece James, Mason Mount, Azpilicueta and Jorginho, moving the ball between themselves, with Mount and Reece James often poking at the back line, with the 2 strikers ready to attack the box. However, on the left, Sterling, Kovacic, Jorginho and Cucurella would look to move the ball in a similar fashion. The positions weren't fixed, with Mount often finding himself out wide, with Reece James in the half space or acting as an inverted fullback, and giving more space to Azpilicueta. With Chelsea creating these overloads, a quick ball down the flank and across onto the second post meant Sterling would often find himself in acres of space, with support from Cucurella on the overlap, or Aubameyang and Havertz in the centre. However, the English winger just couldn't seem to get his shot away for the majority of the match. Now, when these squares weren't possible, Chelsea looked to be extremely vertical and get into the box quickly. Aubameyang and Havertz would essentially act as a double false 9, with one dropping deep and the other pushing back the back line. Now, with Sterling and James hugging the touchline, this front 4 meant there was a lot of space between the fullbacks and the centre-backs, which was consistently attacked by Kovacic and Mason Mount. A combination that occurred early on in the match would see Chelsea moving the ball out wide to Sterling on the left flank, dragging the right back out wide, and this would open up the half space which Kovacic would move into, dragging Salzburg's midfielder with him. Sterling would play it into Havertz and attack the space himself with a quick 1-2, looking for a shot or to dribble into the box. Sterling's positioning out wide is very reminiscent of Trossard's positioning under Potter during his time at Brighton. By using these overloads out wide, Chelsea were able to create a lot of chances in the 90 minutes. However, Havertz and Aubameyang are yet to find their shooting boots, and the one goal is all Chelsea could manage. But there are some positive signs. The quality of the chances Chelsea were able to create was impressive, and something that Potter should certainly be excited about. Having said that, Chelsea didn't win, and a sloppy equaliser could be down to Potter not adapting to Salzburg's change in playstyle. Chelsea looked to use a man-to-man pressing approach, with Aubameyang and Havertz on the two centre-backs, with Sterling and Reece James ready to close down the full-backs, allowing Chelsea to have Mount, Jorginho and Kovacic covering the centre. And their first big chance did come from a high-press situation, with Chelsea forcing Salzburg into the corner, with Cucurella winning the ball and playing it forward into Mount. Now, throughout the first half, Chelsea were able to thwart the majority of Salzburg's chances, thanks to this well-organised press, and the three centre-backs outnumbering the two centre-forwards. However, as the game progressed, Salzburg were able to slowly overload the back line and create more opportunities. The vast majority of their chances came down Chelsea's left flank. At the start, Jorginho and Kovacic were able to stop any movement into the left flank, meaning Cucurella could help outnumber the centre. However, as the game progressed, Salzburg started to outnumber the flank more frequently, with Capaldo shifting onto the flank, and the two strikers going man for man with Silva and Azpilicueta. This meant Chelsea had to tighten their shape on the left more frequently, leaving big gaps on the outside of Azpilicueta, which Salzburg attempted to attack. Chelsea dealt with these one-on-one situations relatively consistently until the 75th minute, when Salzburg found the net, breaking the midfield line, leaving Silva and Azpilicueta in a 2v2. A sloppy tackle from Silva and a slow reaction from Azpilicueta meant Chelsea walked away with no reward for their efforts. Chelsea's last three managers have not won their first game with the club, but if that's anything to go off, it means Chelsea are favourites for the Champions League. Nonetheless, Chelsea should be excited about the energy and determination that the players showed, and just hope that their new strike force can start finding the back of the net. And now, let me know what you think. Do you think Chelsea are going to make it out of the group stage of the Champions League? And where do you think they're going to finish this season? Leave your thoughts in the comments down below, along with any suggestions for future videos. As always, if you enjoyed this content, then please leave a like and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching.